Hello everyone, I am Dexter. I am a budding gamer slash YouTuber. I started gaming fairly recently and I came across this weird but absolutely mind blowing game called Bloodborne.
A corpse should be left well alone.
And the reason I am calling this game weird is because it is different from the games which are popular for our time. In the times of GTA and Naughty Dogs, Bloodborne would seem completely opposite to what popular games have to offer. It does not feature luxurious cars or glamorous women, money or stylish weaponry, not even high-end graphics. Bloodborne runs on 30 FPS. Hell, our main character can't even speak.
You must be a hunter.
But still, this game has a cult following. But why? Why, you may ask? Why this game is so popular? Now, before we start heading straight into this thing, I would like to give you the disclaimer. If you haven't played Bloodborne yet, I recommend you play the game before watching this video. Because even though I have tried hard not to give any spoiler, but this video might contain some. And also, the first playthrough of a game are usually the best, and I don't want to rob you from that ecstatic experience. So being said that, let's begin, shall we? So to start, we have to go back to the 1920s where lived an author named Howard Phillips Lovecraft. He was an American writer of weird science, fantasy and horror fiction. He is best known for his creation of the Cthulhu mythos. Now you might be surprised that why are we talking about Mr. H.P. Lovecraft in a gaming video? You see, what's peculiar about Mr. Lovecraft was that his stories often revolved around specific type of horror, in which the protagonists encounter ancient, otherworldly entities that challenge their understanding of the universe and drive them into madness. And this specific genre of horror became popularly known as the Lovecraftian horror or the cosmic horror. And even though we humans fear the unknown, but we also have a natural inclination towards the horror, towards the mystery surrounding the unknown. I think that's why people in horror movies move towards the jungle, the sounds, or towards the danger, instead of simply running away. And I guess that's why curiosity always kills the cat. Now, Bloodborne has some fascinating weapons. These weapons are categorized into different types, such as the trick weapons, the hunter tools, arcane types, and the firearm types, each with its own unique moveset and characteristics. FromSoftware, the company which has developed Bloodborne, has taken a leap of faith by bringing down the weapons from more than 200s in the Dark Souls series to 25 to 30 in the Bloodborne, including the DLC part. The melee weapons can even transform into alternate versions to allow more options and attacks at our disposal. Now, instead of a generic hammer, we have a boom hammer, which is like a giant gas lighter capable of inflicting huge detonating attack. We also get to use Reiter Palash, which can transform into a pistol sword, and a sword that can be fused with a giant rock to make a hammer, amongst many other. Now for example, take this weapon. It's a freaking shaving blade from the older times, and its transform attack is one of the most deadliest transform attack in this game. But the best weapon in Bloodborne is the left hand firearm weapon, which is used to parry. And after successfully parrying an enemy, we get to deal extra damage in the form of visceral attacks. And the feeling that we get by parrying a boss enemy using the firearm is so freaking awesome that I tell you guys, there's something beautifully orgasmic to it. But I still wonder, why hasn't any other game copied that parrying mechanism? Every single weapon in this game is viable and balanced, and very intricately designed with unique movesets. Now when it comes to combat mechanics, most of the game have focus on instantaneousness, fluidity and the flow of speed. You press the button and character performs action at lightning speed. That's Mr. Drake being a goody good boy, giving us instant gratification. We can even cancel our action by rapidly pressing the buttons, but that's not the case with Bloodborne. The combat mechanics is totally different from other action adventure RPGs. We have limited amount of stamina and there's no undoing for wrong buttons. We cannot mindlessly spam attack. Each attack move has to be thoroughly thought out. Now that's more engaging than Kratos taking out the entire Olympus army of foot soldiers. We have to put more thought for killing a random passerby cause each enemy is capable of putting us out of our misery. Now you might think that this game is hard and why the hell put so much of time and efforts for playing a game which is supposed to be a fun activity, right? Yes, Bloodborne is hard, but it's not unplayable. There is just no work around to it. Play carefully and you win. It is after all a video game and it is designed to be beaten. It's not like Miyazaki intentionally designed this game to be difficult to keep gamers from finishing the game. I don't know much about business guys, but that surely sounds a bad decision to me. Most of the games rewards quick actions, but Bloodborne is not like that. And for the very same reason, we might find Bloodborne so rewarding, cause it gives us a genuine sense of earning a victory.
Wow! The jacket finally!
But its deliberateness puts it on odds with almost every other game. The Legend of Zelda is considered somewhat predecessor to FromSoftware games. But meanwhile, Zelda explicitly tells us about the enemies, the traps, the dangers. Bloodborne's storytelling is quite vague. The item descriptions are not direct either. I love how Zelda is so fair to people, but Bloodborne is not. And no matter how much people would like to tell us, the real world is not fair, guys, and most of us know that. And this unfairness in Bloodborne instills a sense of paranoia.
Oh, Danny, you lucky scamp! The gift of the Godhead coming!
The oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear, and the oldest and strongest kind of fear is the fear of unknown. H.P. Lovecraft. That's the core psyche of a normal human being. In fact, it's the core psyche of all living creatures. And the reason Bloodborne is so popular is because it has beautifully adapted the psychological horror in the game and its storytelling. Now what I like in particular about Bloodborne is its lore, which I think is not only very deep and philosophical, but also personal and psychological. Let me explain it to you. So to begin, our protagonist is a hunter who has arrived in the mysterious city of Yharnam, seeking a cure for an unknown disease.
Well, you've come to the right place.
We have signed a contract, transfused with the blood, and became the hunter of the dream, tasked with protecting the common citizens of Yharnam. The city is facing a catastrophe, wherein some weird beasts are attacking and people are turning into zombies like creature. At first, it would feel like any other zombie game like Resident Evil or Last of Us. But there's a deep story behind this tragic transformation. You see, deep below the city of Yharnam lies the underground labyrinth of Thumeru. And in this underground labyrinth, some people discovered godlike creatures called the Great Ones, and their blood which had miraculous powers. And with the blood transfusion from the higher celestial beasts, the people got healed super fast. The church took control over this blood transfusion technique and started treating people, and this institution came to be known as the Healing Church. But as they say, human greed knows no limit. Few people started misusing this treatment and were transfusing huge amounts of blood. In order to achieve superhuman or Superman status, they transfused so much blood that they developed insights to the point of insanity. Those people started losing humanity and slowly became bloodlust and transformed into hideous creatures. As we know, some diseases are airborne, some are waterborne. This mysterious zombification disease was bloodborne. It started spreading to other humans, and then from humans to dogs, to crows, to snakes, to spiders and whatnot. I don't know what to call this creature, but it surely looks pretty gruesome to me. Likewise, most of the enemies in the game are a result of blood transfusion experiment gone horribly wrong. Now, through its story, Bloodborne tries to touch the core human psyche by showing us the true nature of humans that how we can turn even a miraculous remedy into a disaster just by our greed, and how, since time immemorial, we have been betraying, have been backstabbing each others, in some cases, even our closed ones, just for money, power, fame, women. But the most important aspect this game shows us is how we humans have the tendency to constantly try to play God and achieve absolute control. So much so that we cannot imagine anyone else controlling our universe, and the insecurities and horror that develop from that thought. The feeling of just being a pawn in the bigger scheme of things of the universe is simply terrifying for us. Bloodborne is filled with ambiguous characters and factions, like this creepy person in Odin Chapel who constantly asks us to send any survivors to his location, or this friendly looking human spider in lecture building who promises to help us find a treasure.
Now you're witness to a miracle.
Now, at first, we might hesitate for a moment, thinking about what's wrong and what's right, and that's okay, it's human nature. And in this game, we as players are often confronted with difficult decisions where there may not be a clear cut good or bad choice. And this ambiguity raises question about the nature of morality and the consequences of one's action. For example, take this case of a little girl's side quest. Now, while trailing into the city, we come across a little girl hiding in the confines of her home.
Are you a hunter? Please will look for my mum. Daddy never came back from the hunt, and she went to find him. But now she's gone too. I'm all alone and scared.
And when we meet the little girl, she asks for our help to search for her parents. Now we can either choose to help her or not.
Really? Oh, thank you.
If we choose to help, we fight overwhelming enemies, slurry demons in the sewer, a giant pig. Heck, we also fight our own father to protect the little girl. This simple side quest in Bloodborne enforces empathy among the players. There are a lot of NPCs, most of them very rude.
Heaven's depths of depravity.
But still we can choose to help them. And this simple act restores our faith into humanity and the belief that humanity can find happiness even in adversity, even in the darkest of time. And that's the beauty of this game. Even though this game is filled with beasts, cosmic creatures, melancholy, sadness, and grief, this game also has a human touch.
Now, I will show you mercy.
Bloodborne re-establishes the fact that even though our life is full of struggles, but still we human persist. And not only we survive, but we also thrive, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Throughout the game, characters are forced to make sacrifices and confront to their past actions. The theme of redemption plays a significant role, as characters seek to atone for their sins or find salvation in the midst of despair. Now, I have so much to talk about this game, like how death is the only constant,
Only an honest death will kill you now.
and how the vicious cycle of birth and rebirth goes on until we achieve nirvana.
You will be freed.
But I would refrain from going deeper into the spiritual aspect, because that would hit different tangent. And there is so much intricacies and nuances to this which I am yet to discover. FromSoftware actually makes good games, but with Bloodborne, they have catapulted that awesomeness to a whole new dimension. Bloodborne's fascinating world is indescribably beautiful yet harrowing in its gothic meets Lovecraft aesthetic. The city of Yharnam is a nightmarish and immersive setting filled with intricate level design, dark alleys, and grotesque creatures. But one more thing, guys, this game doesn't have a map. Still, the environments are designed in such a spectacular manner that it promotes exploration and provides us with a sense of vast interconnected world. Visually, The art direction is absolutely bewitching, with a variety of environments to explore, ranging from the early cramped gothic streets of Yharnam to the grand Castlevania-esque heights of the Castle Cainhurst and the creepy asylum vibes of the fishing hamlet. The placement of enemies in Bloodborne is thoughtfully designed to challenge players strategically. Enemies are often positioned in ways that encourage players to plan their approach carefully and take advantage of the environment. For example, take this enemy. He is slow, but he hits hard, and he is placed in a claustrophobic area. The narrow alleys restrict our movement, which makes the hit and run tactic ineffective. So what can we do? Oh, that's right, we parry. In this manner, the game starts preparing us for the higher challenge. Every mistake is punished. The level design in Bloodborne is so intricate that it's like an invisible teacher. Navigating new areas is fraught with danger, and nowhere is safe until we reach a lamp. The boss battles are easily the most incredibly designed bosses I have ever faced. The playstyle is fast and rewards aggressive combat, with a rally system and a lack of shields. One of the defining mechanics in Bloodborne is the health regain system. When we get hit by an enemy, we have a limited window of time to regain some of our lost health by landing successful counterattacks on them. This mechanism encourages an aggressive playstyle, rewarding those who stay on the offensive. This health regain system has saved me a lot of times during boss fights. Now, we all know that how music plays a crucial role in enhancing the overall experience of a game. Bloodborne's soundtracks are hauntingly beautiful, that complements the overall experience. It sets the tone for the eerie and foreboding world of Yharnam. Bloodborne's soundtrack was composed by a mix of Japanese and Western composers and orchestra artists, and together they have composed some of the best music in the entire gaming industry. During intense moments such as boss battles or significant encounters, the music becomes more dramatic and intense. Now just check this out, guys. The music in this game is awesome, but in DLC, it's just next level. These tracks elevate the tension and excitement during gameplay, making the battles feel more epic and memorable. The music adapts dynamically to our actions and surroundings. For example, as we explore different areas, the music may change to suit the mood and theme of that particular location, providing a more immersive experience. Apart from the composed music, the game's sound design is also remarkable. The subtle sounds of footsteps, creaking doors, and eerie noises contribute to the overall immersion and fear-inducing atmosphere of the game. While Bloodborne is widely regarded as an exceptional and critically acclaimed game, it does have some shortcomings. Firstly, Bloodborne is a PlayStation exclusive game. That means we have to buy at least $300 magic box called the 4th or the 5th generation PlayStation console to play it. And even though there has been a high demand from the gaming community to release this game on PC or any other console, still Bloodborne is available only on the PS console. Then, this game runs on the mind-blowing 30 FPS with no anti-aliasing, which sometimes drops even further, especially in crowded areas or during intense moments, impacting the overall gameplay experience. Traveling from one location to another is quite cumbersome. To visit an area in the game, first we have to go to the Hunter's Dream, and from there and there only we can travel to any other location. Now the dodge and run mechanics without the option to jump is a recurring attribute of the Souls games, and sometimes it can be quite irritating. But some people might claim that, Dexter, there is a jumping option in Bloodborne, you just don't know it. I mean, seriously guys, you call it a jump? Now this is a jump. Heck, even Mario jumps 5 to 6 times his height. And now, there is a hidden boss. A boss even stronger than Malenia or the Nameless King. It's the camera angle. The camera angle boss creates a lot of trouble during critical moments such as the boss fights, and is so powerful that it can beat us to death without even touching us. The camera angle boss has killed me more times than any other boss in this game. Now just check how Sucker Punch has dealt with the issue of camera angle blocking our view. Now that's what I call innovative thinking. FromSoftware has somewhat rectified this problem by adding the jump mechanism in Sekiro and Elden Ring. But the camera angle issue continues to haunt me. The target lock-on mechanism, which is used to select enemies, is very tightly coupled. So what happens is, if we are trying to move sideways, the lock-on mechanism will make our character move in a parabolic path, like the trajectory followed by a moon while revolving around the earth. And this can restrict our free movement, causing confusion while we confront the enemies. And even though I feel that this is the most realistic adaptation of the target lock-on mechanism, but practically it's not viable in games. And I can say that so surely is because Dark Souls 2 has received a lot of criticism, mostly because of this particular issue. It's sometimes better to switch off the target lock-on mechanism to maneuver comfortably. The armors in Bloodborne are for namesake and makes very minimalistic difference. The locations of the lamp and bosses is quite weird. In few cases, the rerun from the lamp to boss fight location is arduous and frustrating. Developers have to understand that such long runs doesn't test our skills, but test our patience. But guys, that's not the case for every boss fight. The story narration through item descriptions and NPC is quite vague and complicated. So sometimes it becomes quite challenging to understand the story and piece it together. Now Bloodborne has a lot of issues, but none of them detracts it from what this game set out to achieve. The core concept of cosmic horror remains as good as it could get. Now, a lot of fans are demanding for a sequel to Bloodborne be made. And even though a successful sequels of a lot of previous games and movies have been developed, what I personally think the problem with the horror genre is that it's very difficult to create a long-lasting impact once we get to know the bad guy or the enemies. For example, the first part of Predator or Alien movie or the Bollywood cult classic Raz was so successful than their successor movies is because in the first part we didn't know who the enemy is or how does it look like. This mystery about the antagonist creates a thrilling and nail-biting experience which is quite difficult to replicate. But who knows, developers might develop a sequel with more horrific and thrilling experience. And this thought, frankly, is quite fascinating for a lot of us. Bloodborne is a triumph in modern gaming, delivering an exceptional experience that stands out as a true masterpiece. Its challenging gameplay, captivating storytelling, and haunting atmosphere combines to create an unforgettable journey into the darkest alleys of gaming. Now, individual preferences and tastes are highly subjective. Few people might like this game and few may not. I'm not here to argue that. Games are first and foremost made or played for our leisure and enjoyment, period. We should be able to have fun playing a game. We don't need to constantly punish ourselves for finishing a game or for having an extraordinary experience. The real world is already doing that to us. That's why a lot of people like to take refuge in the gaming world. But I just want to say that if you are into horror kind of action adventure games, then this is the game for you. And if you are willing to face its daunting challenges, Bloodborne will reward you with an unparalleled and ecstatic experience. Also, a word of caution for parents or an elder sibling or a potential fan watching this video. Bloodborne is rated M for maturity by the Entertainment Software Rating Board due to its intense violence, blood and gore, and suggestive themes. There is literally a river of blood in this game, and the game is intended for players aged 17 or older. So make sure that you or your sibling or your kid is mature enough to play this game. Bloodborne is known for its dark and challenging gameplay, with a focus on combat against grotesque and frightening creatures. It includes graphic violence and may not be suitable for all children, even those who meet the age requirements. The game's dark and harrowing atmospheric setting, as well as its difficult gameplay, can potentially cause anxiety or distress to some players. But having said that, there's no denying that this is a true modern day horror masterpiece. And if you have the stomach for it, embark on this harrowing journey. But beware guys, for once you step into Yharnam, there's no turning back. Thank you so much everyone for watching this video. If you enjoyed this kind of content, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more. And also, let me know in the comments section what do you think about Bloodborne. And remember guys,
May the good blood guide your way.